And the first thing we're going to do is with the handy dandy electric fillet knife, and you can use a regular fillet knife obviously to do this as well, but we're just going to slap this off here. There we go. And you can see, if you're careful with this, it leaves no meat. So then I'm just going to flip this baby over. Do the same thing on the other side. There you go. Takes virtually every bit of meat off here, right there, but with the knife blade, if you keep it just slightly tipped down and where you can feel it kind of rubbing on the spine, and then just work it right through there, it comes out just beautiful. But we did pretty good. So we've got the rib bones, and then we've got this Y bone that goes down through here, that goes from the spine out to the lateral line. So these little tiny bones right here are the ones that go from the spine out to the lateral line. The bone that we end up chewing on when we cook these whole, or when most people fry them up. So I'm going to show you how to get these out, but what we're going to do here first, before we get after that Y bone, is just take a well sharpened knife, and we're going to come right up against these ribs, and just nice and slowly try to keep the knife right up against the underside of these. Take that out. So now we've just got this. And the bones for this lateral line run down to about this far down the fish, just past where the anal vent is. There is where these stop. But you usually just take the knife, and you can hear it. But what we're going to do is just try to get right up against these. And these run at an angle through the meat. When you fillet them off like this, they don't run straight down. They run kind of this way. So when you put the knife in, if you get it right up against the top of these bones, and then just angle the knife towards the top of the fish, and then follow those bones down. And then back here you can kind of angle towards the middle of the meat there. And then one thing that I do is just take your fingernail, and you can run down that. You just run your finger along there, and you can tell if you missed any bones. Sometimes you'll end up with a couple in there, but just check it real quick. And then you just come back, basically do the exact same thing, just on the other side of the bones. And then you just cut those Y bones right out. And then same thing, run your finger over it, make sure you didn't miss any. This is another spot here. Sometimes you can miss some of the ribs after you make that incision, that cut along the head. Okay, so I think we're pretty good there. So we'll just do the same thing to the other side. One of the things with, not so much on this one, but on some trout, this one's got a little bit here. One of the other things you can do is just take your knife and run down. There's a layer of fat in between the skin and the meat that can taint the flavor of the meat a little bit. This one doesn't have too much fat on it, but you can kind of see. You want to try to get that off if you can. One of the other videos I did, I had somebody left a comment saying that this was, in his opinion, was a wasteful way to clean fish. And I completely disagree with that. There is a little bit of meat that gets left on the bones. However, when you have boneless trout fillets, you're gonna be able to prepare this so many different ways that there's a much higher guarantee that that meat is going to get frozen and not left in the fridge and end up getting freezer burnt and thrown out because no one wanted to pick out the bones again. You know, I think it's one of the things, at least with my family anyways, having those little bones in there and the chance, you know, everybody's gotten them stuck in your throat before, really prevents a lot of people from eating too much fish. So now we'll just do the same thing to the other side. And there we go. Our little rainbow all deboned and ready to go in the freezer. I'm just gonna vacuum seal these, mark the kind of fish and the date that I caught it, and throw this baby in the freezer. We'll eat this meat up probably in the next couple weeks, but the meat will, if you vacuum seal it, the meat will be good in the freezer for like 2 years if you get the really good vacuum seal bags and just get it sealed up so the air can't get to it. They last a really long time, but you should be eating it before the 2 years comes around.